Hello everyone, I'm Alex Moxon with Racine County Weather. Today is day 4 of Wisconsin's Tornado and Severe Weather Awareness Week. Today we will be covering Wisconsin tornado statistics as well as tornado classification and safety. Taking a look at the Wisconsin tornado statistics by month. This is from the National Weather Service. You notice that we have seen tornadoes in every month in the state of Wisconsin with the exception of February. However, that does not mean we can't see one in February. So this kind of shows that we can see a tornado at any time of the year, even in the winter. However, as you can see, it peaks between the months of May and August, it looks like. Taking a look at the average Wisconsin tornado, the duration of the tornado really typically does not go on for much longer than 10 minutes in most tornadoes. Some can go on much longer, some are only on the ground for not even a minute. The path length is typically about 3 to 5 miles or so, again could be longer or shorter. It's typically about 120 or so yards in width, and its intensity averages around a 1.1 on the EF scale. We'll be taking a look at the Enhanced Fujita scale right now. Taking a look at the tornado classification, a 1.1 on the EF scale would be a weak tornado. EF0 and an EF1 are both weak tornadoes. When you get to the strong tornadoes, that will be your EF2 and EF3. EF4 and EF5 are your violent tornadoes. Our most common tornadoes here in Wisconsin are EF0s and 1s. We see a few 2s from time to time. It's pretty rare though that we get to see an EF3, even more rare for an EF4 or an EF5. But again, they can certainly happen around here as we have seen them before. Now taking a look at the tornado safety. To prepare for a tornado before it happens, you want to be sure you are knowing what county you live in and what county you are currently in as well, if you can. The National Weather Service will be issuing their warnings by county or partial county, so it's important to know what county you live in. If you're listening to NOAA Weather Radio, you will be hearing them also list off cities that are included in this, but it is much easier to know what county you live in. Of course, I run Racine County Weather, so I'm primarily forecasting for Racine County. However, I know I do have people from outside Racine County who like Racine County weather, so be sure you know what county you live in, what county you're in at every time, if you can. Also have multiple sources of being notified of severe weather. You can have the single best source is NOAA Weather Radio. However, there are plenty of other sources out there as well. I do encourage every home to have NOAA Weather Radios in them. You can purchase them at most bigger end retail stores or electronics stores. You can purchase NOAA Weather Radios there. Some of them go for around $20, so it's a very good investment for your safety. You can also get apps on your phone. There's weather radio apps or local media outlet apps. You can also stay connected to local media sources. And relatively new is the wireless emergency alert system. That will be activated for tornado warnings. It's not activated for the tornado drill. However, it will be activated for tornado warnings and some other alerts if you are in that area. So definitely something to take advantage of. If you are outdoors, you can take advantage of the outdoor warning siren system that are in some communities. Not every community has them, and do be aware that these are not meant to be heard inside. So if you're just waiting to hear the outdoor warning sirens when you're inside, that is not the best way to go, as they are not meant to be heard indoors. A NOAA Weather Radio is your best bet. Do also know of safe places where you're commonly located, at home, work, school, etc. You need to know the places in which you can take shelter rather, to stay safe. The best places at home would be in a basement. If there's no basement available, go to an interior room on the lowest floor of your building. A bathroom is great because it has a lot of plumbing around it. Those are the best spots to be. At work or at school, go into a basement if you can. Otherwise, in a hallway or in a bathroom on the lowest floor would be your best bet. Stay out of auditoriums, warehouses, or gymnasiums, and those are areas with unsupported ceilings, so those could very easily collapse. You want to practice tornado drills routinely. That's why the state has the statewide tornado drill every year. You want to be sure you know what to do in the event that a tornado happens. You also, once a tornado watch is issued, that is when you want to be watching for signs of tornado development. That's how I distinguish between tornado watch and warning. A watch is when you're watching for conditions to develop. A warning is when you need to take action. When you want to watch for signs of tornado development and be prepared for the high winds, and be sure to move or secure any outdoor objects that could be blown around, like trash cans, lawn chairs, etc. So be sure of that. Also, one thing that you do want to have is an emergency kit. You can find more information about that on the National Weather Service, Red Cross, Wisconsin Emergency Management websites. Places like that will have a lot of information on that. Safety during a tornado. Once a warning is issued or when you see any weather that could look threatening, you want to take immediate action. If you see weather that looks threatening, you really do want to take action. Don't necessarily wait for the warning, because it might take a little bit for that to be issued. While they do issue warnings quickly, the information might not be with them, so you do want to take shelter as soon as you possibly can. The safest place to be during a tornado is in a basement or under a sturdy piece of furniture or a staircase if possible. If there is not a basement available, you want to use an interior room on the lowest floor of the building. Again, a good place to be would be in a bathroom. You also want to, if you live in a mobile home, evacuate that mobile home immediately. The 40% of all deaths in tornadoes are from those in mobile homes, so you really want to get out of that mobile home immediately and seek shelter in a sturdy building. If you're caught outdoors, seek shelter if you can in a sturdy building. If you can't, you want to try and drive away from the tornado. To drive away from the tornado, you want to drive in right angles away from the tornado, constantly monitoring where that tornado is. You do not want to drive towards the tornado or parallel to the tornado. You want to try and drive away from the tornado, right angles with the tornado, as tornadoes can shift direction without any warning. So you want to do that. And then as you're driving, if you are noticing flying debris, that is when you need to pull over and you need to use your last resort options. There are two last resort options if you're stranded in your vehicle and the tornado is approaching. You want to pull over, put the car in park, and duck. Make sure the doors are locked. Duck underneath the windows and cover your head with either your hands or a blanket if one is available. That is option 1. Option 2 should only be used in the event that you can get significantly below the ground, such as if there's a ditch next to the highway that you can get into. If you can get into a ditch, go in that ditch so you can be significantly below street level and lie flat there, covering your head, or crouch down, covering your head as well, staying protected underneath there. Those are only last resort options. Again, a sturdy building is your best bet during a tornado. After a tornado, you want to continue to stay monitored with NOAA Weather Radio and other local media outlets for further information. That is going to give you the all clear that the tornado threat is over and you can get out and do what you need to do. You want to stay out of damaged buildings and avoid down power lines and any broken gas lines. If you do encounter these, report them to the utilities services immediately. You want to be sure to take pictures of any property damage that you have for insurance claims, and please use 911 only in emergency situations. If you are trapped, if you see somebody who is trapped and they need help, if somebody needs immediate medical attention, that's when you want to call 911. If it's not urgent emergency, do not call. If you can, don't use the phone. Because there are so many people that are going to need to call 911 for emergency situations that you want to keep those phone lines open for those emergencies. Instead of calling family members and friends to let them know that you're safe, text them instead if you can, because that will keep the phone lines much more open for these emergency calls. So use texting instead of calling if at all possible. That's all I have for today's topics. For tomorrow's topics, the final day of Tornado and Severe Weather Awareness Week, we will be looking at the United States severe weather fatality statistics as well as heat waves. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for listening. I'm Alex Moxon.